So now that we've had that little meeting with Luca and read Antonio's notes, it's time to continue onward. Now it may seem a little odd that we haven't had any optional verses yet, but the optional verses are about to appear. Don't you worry about that. Also, cheekily little hidden witch heart up there. At least I think it was a witch heart. Yeah, my footage is running rather slowly at this point, so my blathering might not be particularly working properly. Now, basically, you just need to kind of run down here. Everything looks wonderful, and then, oh, Luminac. Now, if you dodge this that cart, then you will get an achievement, which is quite nice. Also, here we have enchants, which are really annoying. I dislike enchants very, very much. It's just because kind of they constantly move, which can just make it really irritating when you want to kill them. Also, the enchants are kind of one of the major examples of an enemy attacking immediately after their hierarchy of Laguna entry has been shown. And here we have our first Alfheim of the chapter. I believe chapter 2 has about 3 Alfheims. This is rather annoying, because basically you are going to need to make excellent use of the shooting, otherwise you are not going to make it through this chapter with well, you're not going to make it through the verse at all, really. Annoyingly, I don't think I got a great rank on that. Well, that's actually fine by me. I mean, pretty much, if you get as many platinums as you can, then you're putting yourself in pretty damn good stead for getting the platinum at the end of the chapter. But it's all kind of just luck. Well, it's not luck, it's completely skill. There is no luck involved in Bayonetta. But still. Now, I normally don't use the Onyx Roses, but basically they are helpful for the next Alfheim that we have to do, which is hidden just up on top of, oh, for Pete's sake, it's hidden on this little platform here. Now, basically, the reason that the Onyx Roses are helpful is because it's... Okay, no, never mind. It's not quite what I thought it was. I thought it was a stay in the air. Either way, to be perfectly honest, you can do a lot of the Alfheim missions with Scarper Fair if you really want to. I mean, you're a crazy person if you try, but some people are just amazing at this game, and will play it under extreme conditions, so giving themselves kind of very specific limitations, like just using Scarborough Fair or not using any accessories or whatever. Just kind of all makes the game harder, and people find that fun. I mean, I like a challenge, don't get me wrong, I like a challenge, but I have to say, Bayonetta on normal is challenge enough for me. There will come a point in the future where I will definitely try and tackle hard mode and infinite climax mode, but let's just say I'm not that good at the game. I am good enough to be able to complete normal with a sufficient degree of competency, but there are people who are far superior and have basically managed to pure platinum every single chapter in the game on every single difficulty, and I'd say hats off to those people because they are amazing, and it is amazing to see Bayonetta played by those people because it's just beautiful to watch. So it's perhaps not so beautiful when they are manipulating a certain glitch, which I won't actually be manipulating because I can't pull it off. Actually, I might be able to pull it off, but I'm too lazy, so I'm going to be using the weapon that you use in that glitch, but not actually using the glitch. Either way. That didn't go too well. Basically, kind of, if you... in chapters like that, your combo score is kind of generally your main thing that's going to pull you down, because sometimes the combo scores are very difficult to get. Other times, not so much, but it all varies, really. Now, these Umbran witch tombs in this plaza basically serve no purpose whatsoever, which is rather irritating that they are so pointless, because all they give you is concocting materials, but sometimes you want more than concocting materials. Anyway, notes on magic. 2. In the rigorous pursuits that are the magical arts, one method is said to have caused countless deaths during training, witch walk. To the Umbra witches, it seems witch walk was truly indispensable. Taking their power from the moon, this band of witches were able to draw on the power-enriching qualities of moonlight to execute high-level techniques. However, records state that witch walk was powered by a pact with a particularly powerful demon, who would grant the power to break gravity's bonds, and not by the more common moonlit source. As no further records remain as to the nature of this technique, any more hard facts remain unknown. However, by looking at the traces left on the buildings around Vigrid, one can make a further assumption. The traces are in fact footprints left on the surfaces of the wall. They blend into the city so well that you almost never catch a glimpse of them at first glance. In fact, those without knowledge of witch walk will probably never notice the footprint's presence. Amongst the dirt and the scars on the surface, there are many buildings in Vigrid where footprints sporadically continue along their sides. This must be none other than proof that witches walked on the walls. Many of these buildings where witches have left their mark are truly strange. There are doors in unbelievably high locations, or the building may lack a path to its entrance entirely. Rejecting all intruders and living a life of solitude, witch walk was not just a training technique for the Umbra witches, it was a shield that protected their way of life. I have to say, I really do kind of like all of the little bits of information, because you don't get to see them that often. So it is awesome to have all this background information. It's certainly not as in-depth as, say, the stuff in like Mass Effect, but I prefer having, I'd say, this amount of background information and not the extent that Mass Effect goes to, because Mass Effect is too much, I think. Now, here's one thing that kind of makes me laugh. With the next generation of consoles, one of the major things in the graphics department that developers seem to be harping on is particles, and having lots of particles flying everywhere. But I mean, you can look here in Bayonetta, and Bayonetta does particles amazingly. I mean, you've got every single bullet kind of coming out of Bayonetta's gun and falling. You've got all the special effects flying everywhere, and as you've seen, kind of when it's raining, the second you go into Witch Time, it's dropping. You can see every single raindrop, and I think that it's just amazing the quality of the graphics that Platinum Games managed to get in Bayonetta here. It's just absolutely stunning. Now, you've probably seen lots of little posters around Vigrid here, and you can actually read the writing on most of the posters and billboards and everything. So, for example, you can see there's a cafe. I can't remember exactly. I believe it's actually this one here. Yes, you have this little cafe here, which is called Lyra's Cafe. The menu says, menu, ham egg chips, corned beef chips, bacon egg chips, sausage egg, spam chips, bee burger chips, spam egg chips, beans, tomatoes, fruit salad, tea, coffee. Now, the fact that it's Lyra, this is potentially a reference to Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials, in which one of the main characters was called Lyra, which is quite awesome. There are lots of these readable bits all throughout Chapter 2. Of all sorts, which is just great that there's such an intense focus on detail, and I just love it. Now, the important thing to note in the use torture attacks outlines is that you've got to kill the enemy with a torture attack for it to count. It's not just use torture attack, which will definitely catch you off guard if you're not looking. So you've just got to try and quickly build up your magic as quickly as possible, and if you can, try and make use of the affinities here, because you can get a decent amount of torture attacks off of them. Also, make sure to torture attack the applauds, because they're basically providing you massive fodder there for getting a torture attack, which is just great. Now, you are going to hear Mysterious Destiny a lot throughout this game, and I do actually really like it as a song. It's just very catchy. A lot of people kind of, well, a lot of other gamers probably get annoyed by it with its very, very J-poppy sound. But also, the lyrics are just great. Because, I mean, this little section's not so good. Because it's basically, come on, you know, there's only one way, your way. Dance, fight, spin around, dance, fight, fly higher, fly higher, fly higher. That bit's not so good, but the other two bits are great, because the first bit is, Bayonetta, you mystery, you came along with a destiny. This is your life, a battlefield telling you who you are. Bayonetta, this is your time, you're gonna sparkle, you're gonna shine. Girl, when you fight, it looks like a dance, you are magic, you're magic. And then the second bit is, Bayonetta, you bury your loneliness deep down in your eyes. Sadness lies in your smile, but victory shines in your eyes. You're still alive. And I just think that's quite awesome. That it's just very subtle, and you don't really hear it because of the whole English thing. But it's kind of a nice little detail about Bayonetta, which I just really like. Now, at the end of the previous chapter, we got another golden LP, the Quasi Una Fantasia, which we will be getting shortly. Anyway, another Antonio's notes about Umbra witches. Witches were ones of talent. That is my impression after years of exhaustive research into the Umbra. The word witches triggers within us all prejudices towards the paranormal or the supernatural. However, in this ancient city of Vigrid, the magical arts were a systematic form of scholarship. Of course, what I've learned about witches will be labelled as fraud by the world at large, but blah. I will begin these notes with items I have confirmed to be absolute facts in regards to witches. Due to the lack of contact with the outside world, we often feel that witches were a strictly hereditary order. However, this is not always the case. For one to become a witch, one must first and foremost possess incredible spirit energy. Those with power could become witches despite being of low birth, and those without power would be forced into secular life, regardless of any blood ties to a witch clan. Naturally, children born within a clan were often quick to grasp the concept of magic, due to the environment around them, allowing their innate abilities to bloom at a ridiculous rate. Coming to grips with this concept must have inspired one to further hone their spirit energy. These children were also able to participate in extensive drills with other witches, and only had those who had shown great promise and achievement were able to take their witchly vows prior to passage into womanhood. The exact nature of spirit energy remains unclear, although recognising its existence within oneself and finding this talent further was the one true path to produce a witch of great ability. So I think now we are going to get another awesome weapon.
Another LP? Working me to the bone. But no need to pity me. I was bored anyways. Let me go whip some things into shape for you.
Now, the song here is Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. Specifically, it's Piano Sonata number 14, in C sharp minor, quasi una fantasia. Can't remember what the opus number 27, number 2, but it is more popularly known as Moonlight Sonata. And here we have Sharaba. When literally translated from Japanese to English, Sharaba means the scene of bloodshed. It's commonly used in the screenwriting industry in Japan to categorise fight and action scenes, apparently. Now, apparently there was a special animation planned and developed for Sharaba that was going to happen when it was charged. The hilt of the sword would open, revealing Ashura's pulsing heart, but during subsequent changes in animation, they forgot to link that animation back in, and it's not actually in the game, although the code for it still exists. And now, seeing as we have a nice amount of halos, it's time to start buying accessories. So first off, I've got myself the Star of Dintea, which basically allows me to taunt, and then I will get health back. Which is very, very, very helpful. Now, basically, Sharaba is probably one of the most powerful weapons throughout the game, and if you want a very easy ride, then Sharaba is going to help you out.
I've got a fever, and the only cure is more dead angels. You want to tell?
Now, Bayonetta does have various taunts, and it does change depending on what weapon you have. So pretty much, I mean, for with Sharaba, it's Bring It, which is quite awesome. Now Sharaba has one of the quickest Wicked Weave attacks. Well, quickest and most powerful Wicked Weave attacks in the game. Essentially, what you do is it's punch, kick, punch, and it's great. You also have the charge up move that you can perform, which is just holding the Y button down. I believe that's called Yai Jutsu, or something of that sort. And basically that is a great way of getting early damage if you want it. Now if you head on up here and jump into the tree, you can get another Broken Witch Heart. They're just kind of laying these out for us right now. Now, I have to say this is probably one of the closer run witch time activations that you're going to need to do, because you've got to be very quick at moving, and although Bayonetta is quick enough, she isn't necessarily fast enough to be able to get through this. Now, there's an Umbran Tears of Blood up on that lamppost there. And then it's basically time to go through this this door and see what is behind it. All I can say is I know that I am not going to like whatever is through that door. Music here is Mysterious Girl. Gonna cut out the name. Blah enters. You'll find out the name of this character later on. But for now, it's just Mysterious Girl enters.
You've played enough hide and seek, my scurrying little friend.
Don't be mean to the child.
Just a child?
Jeez, Bayonetta.
What are you doing running
So
around?
heartless.
You're certainly not dressed in your Sunday best. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like
And she's gone. Typical. And oh dear. Evil Dragon Angel returns. The music is... Evil Dragon Angel appears. I will once again withhold his name for now, but we will be learning it very shortly. Music is In Labours and Dangers, Movement 1, I believe. Now, I dislike this fight, basically because he's very unpredictable and can cause quite a lot of damage very quickly. Which is why I do kind of prefer using Sharaba. Now, it might have been very productive if I had just done Punch Kick Punch, because that can kick off so much health, it's unreal. And if I recall correctly, it does, well, on easy difficulty, it does do quite a lot of damage to him. Don't know whether that would translate into higher difficulties, but there we go. Now, I do really like this kind of pulling out that you see, because it's just like, blow my neck. And also, we are actually about to get our first kind of real QuickTime event of the game. Now, a lot of people really don't like these QuickTime events. I mean, I can't say I'm a fan of them, because basically if you fail them, then you get a game over. Which is really irritating and rather mean. But once you've got the timing down, then they're perfectly fine, and actually, there's only 2 of this type of QuickTime event that I can think of. And it's in this there's the one in this chapter and there's the one in the next chapter. And that's it. All the others are of a much nicer the jump variety that you saw in chapter 1. I think that is pretty much every single other QuickTime event like that you come up against. So it's odd that they appear here, but I can forgive them because they are literally just 2 points in a game, which kind of makes up for 2 slightly annoying QuickTime events, which is fine by me. So that's chapter 2 already done. It's time to move on to chapter 3. The Burning Ground. Ooh.